So thinking about becoming a physics teacher, that's awesome. You're probably picturing yourself, like in front of a classroom, maybe with some wild experiment bubbling over.
Classic.
Right. It's great to get excited about those wow moments, but it's smart to think about the bigger picture too. And good news, we've got a ton of info from RoleCatcher to help unpack all of that. It's like having a career guide right here with us, and they really get into the details of what it actually takes to be a successful physics teacher.
They really do. Their career guide, physics teacher secondary school, super insightful, gets into the real world demands, the rewards, goes way beyond just the surface level of the job.
Okay, so let's dig into it. They start by saying it takes more than just, well, being a physics whiz to be a great teacher.
Right.
What are some of the other key skills they highlight?
Well, think about it. You're not just teaching like equations and formulas, you're teaching teenagers.
True.
The guide stresses how important communication is, adaptability, even classroom management skills. Imagine trying to explain quantum mechanics
Oh, wow, yeah.
to a room full of students. And they've all got different learning styles, different energy levels, and let's be real, tons of distractions.
Teenagers, they're a tough crowd. You got to find a way to make physics resonate with their world, which isn't always easy. And speaking of real-world stuff, the guide doesn't shy away from the day-to-day grind of being a teacher either, does it?
Not at all, no way. It lays it all out there. Planning lessons, grading, even those parent-teacher conferences that everyone loves.
Yeah.
And yeah, dealing with discipline issues, that's part of the package too.
Sounds like you need a lot of patience, and maybe a few tricks up your sleeve to handle all of that. One thing that stood out to me was how much they mentioned the role of technology in the classroom. How IS technology changing how physics is being taught these days.
It's really interesting to see. We're seeing more and more interactive simulations. They can bring these really complex concepts to life in a way that textbooks just can't. Students can actually visualize abstract things, experiment in virtual labs, no safety goggles needed to even collaborate with each other online.
It's like a whole new world of possibilities for teaching and learning physics.
Yeah,
But with any advancement, there are challenges. Right?
totally. The guide makes it clear that not everyone has equal access to technology. And teachers, they need to get good at integrating it into their lessons so it's actually helpful. It's this balance. You want tech to enhance learning, not become another distraction.
Right. It's not about just using technology for the sake of it. It's about using it strategically.
Exactly. And that means teachers have to be willing to adapt and evolve their methods to keep up with all the new advancements.
Makes sense. It's interesting. They don't shy away from the tough stuff either. Like they talk about the heavy workload, the competitive job market. They keep it real.
Yeah, they do. They acknowledge that finding a teaching position, especially in a specific location, it can be tough.
That's a good reality check for anyone thinking about this career. It's not just about loving physics. It's about being ready for the job market too.
Absolutely. But while they don't sugarcoat the challenges, they also really emphasize the rewards of being a physics teacher.
So let's talk about the good stuff. What makes this career path so rewarding?
Just imagine seeing that aha moment on a student's face when they finally grasp a concept. That sense of knowing you made a difference in their life. It's incredibly rewarding.
There's something really special about that, being part of a student's journey of discovery, especially in a subject like physics, which, let's face it, underpins so much of how the world works.
Totally. And beyond that personal satisfaction, there's also the potential for career advancement. You can contribute to physics education as a whole, even influence policy changes. It's a career with the potential for some serious impact.
Speaking of impact, we got to talk about AI. It's everywhere these days, and RoleCatcher has some really interesting stuff on how it's changing the whole recruitment process, even for aspiring teachers. They've got this AI-powered platform, analyzes job descriptions, helps tailor your resume, even gives you feedback on practice interviews. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, that's for sure. On one hand, these tools can really level the playing field, give people valuable insights and guidance. On the other hand, it does make you wonder how to navigate this new world. Does it create new challenges, too?
Right, because you've got these incredible resources that can help you put your best foot forward, boost your confidence. But then there's this whole other side where you're basically up against algorithms trying to beat the system in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. And one of the most interesting things is how RoleCatcher's platform can be used by employers to find potential candidates. So instead of just applying to jobs, you could have schools reaching out to you because your skills match what they're looking for.
Wow. Okay, that is pretty cool, like a matchmaking service for educators.
Yeah.
But it also brings up questions. How's our data being used? Is there enough transparency in the process?
You're right to be cautious. Like with any new technology, we have to be critical and advocate for ethical, transparent implementation.
For sure. One thing that jumped out at me was their section on beating the automated recruiter. They talk about strategically using keywords in your resume and cover letter. It's like you're writing for a machine as much as a human.
That's the reality now, though, right? Applicant tracking systems, they're often the first hurdle. Speak their language, so to speak, while still being authentic and showcasing your unique skills.
Sounds like a tough balance to strike.
It is, but remember, even if you get past the AI, you still have to connect with an actual person in the interview. And that's where those soft skills we talked about, communication, adaptability, that passion for teaching, that's where they really come into play.
It's about letting that human element shine through. You're not just a bunch of data points for a machine.
Exactly. It really is. No algorithm can replace that connection between a teacher and their students.
Hmm.
That human element is so important. And speaking of important, the RoleCatcher Guide really gets into this idea of continuous learning for teachers.
Oh, for sure. Like they say, once you stop learning, you start dying,
Right.
especially in a field like physics, always changing.
Totally. The guide emphasizes that getting the job, that's just the beginning. Staying up to date on advancements in physics, new teaching techniques, even new technologies, it's all crucial for growth as a teacher.
So it's more than just like getting the latest edition of the textbook. They actually give some more specific advice than just keep learning. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They recommend actively looking for professional development opportunities, like workshops, conferences, that kind of thing. And subscribing to physics education journals, great way to stay in the loop.
Well,
And joining professional organizations, so important for connecting with other educators.
it's like building a whole community of support and knowledge.
Exactly.
It really does highlight how being a teacher, particularly in physics, it's not just a job. It's a constantly evolving career, always learning, adapting, refining what you do.
And that's what keeps it fresh and exciting, right? For both the teacher and the students. When you're genuinely into your subject, always looking for new ways to approach it, that passion, it rubs off.
Oh, I totally agree. I had this physics teacher in high school. He got so fired up about the material, it was impossible not to get drawn in.
Yeah.
He made even the most complicated stuff seem understandable, even exciting.
That's the mark of a great teacher. It's not just about sharing information, it's about sharing your love of learning, showing students that physics isn't just some abstract thing, it's a way to understand the universe.
And that sense of wonder, that curiosity, that's something that sticks with you long after you've left school.
Absolutely. You never know, you might just inspire the next Einstein.
Yeah.
But even on a more practical level, the guide also looks at different career paths within physics education too.
Yeah, because it's not always a straight line from classroom teacher to retirement, right?
Right. They talk about how teachers can use their experience to move into different roles, like becoming a department head, developing curriculum, even moving into school administration.
Makes sense. You gain experience, you build your network, new doors open up. And speaking of networks, I noticed they also emphasize how important it is to build strong professional connections as a teacher.
Oh, it's huge. Going to conferences, joining those professional organizations we talked about, it's not just about staying current. It's about meeting other educators, sharing ideas, learning from each other's experiences.
Creating that support system. Right?
Exactly. Having that network of people who get the unique challenges and joys of teaching physics, it's so valuable, especially for new teachers. You can find mentors, share best practices. Just know you're not alone in this.
Yeah, I bet that support makes a world of difference, especially in those first few years.
Absolutely. It can spark new collaborations, innovative teaching strategies, even just re-energize you when you're feeling burnt out. It's about fostering that shared passion for physics education.
This is all great stuff, but I'm imagining it might feel a little overwhelming for someone who's just starting to think about teaching physics. What would you say to someone who may be feeling a bit intimidated, unsure if they have what it takes?
I'd say don't let the challenges overshadow the incredible rewards of this job. Teaching it takes dedication, resilience, a lot of patience, that's for sure. But the chance to really make a difference in young people's lives, to share your love of physics, it's something special.
It's about following your passion, even when it's hard. Even when you're facing a classroom full of teenagers who'd rather be anywhere else.
You got it. And remember, you don't have to have all the answers right away. Teaching is all about learning, for you and your students. So embrace the challenges, be open to new ideas, and never lose sight of the impact you can make.
Great advice, really, for any career, but especially one as impactful as teaching. But let's be real, the job market can be tough. Luckily, RoleCatcher also gives some tips on how to stand out from the crowd.
They do. Remember those AI-powered tools we were talking about? They really get into how to use those to build a strong resume, write a compelling cover letter, even practice for those nerve-wracking interviews.
Now you're speaking my language. Tell me more.
So their AI resume builder, it's designed to analyze job descriptions and pinpoint the keywords that catch the eye of recruiters, both human ones and those applicant tracking systems that everyone's talking about.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Okay.
Speaking the language of the algorithms without losing your own voice.
Exactly. It helps you optimize for the machines while still showcasing your unique skills and experience.
Okay, cool. And what about cover letters? Are those even still relevant in this age of AI and online applications?
They are. A really well-written cover letter is your chance to make a personal connection with whoever's hiring. It goes beyond just listing your accomplishments. It's where you can really share your passion for teaching, your specific approach to physics, why you'd be a good fit for that school.
It's where your personality and enthusiasm can really shine through.
Totally. And RoleCatcher's AI tools can even help with that. They have this tool that analyzes your resume, the job description, even your writing style, and it suggests ways to improve, make things clearer, make sure your letter is really strong and tailored to that specific school.
It's like having a writing coach and an editor all in one.
Right. Take some of the pressure off so you can focus on conveying your passion and why you're the perfect candidate.
This is incredible. It's like they thought of everything.
And they even offer tools to help you prep for interviews. And I'm not talking about just your typical generic advice. They have AI-powered practice questions, personalized feedback. They can even analyze your video responses and help you improve your delivery and come across as more confident.
Wow. It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
Exactly. Their platform walks you through common questions for physics teachers, gives you insights into what hiring managers are looking for. They even use AI to analyze things like your body language and tone of voice and give suggestions.
Okay, that's amazing, but also a little bit scary. It's like every little thing is being scrutinized.
I get it, but remember, it's all about giving you more tools as a candidate. These things are designed to give you the information and practice you need to put your best foot forward and really nail that interview.
So it's about using technology to level the playing field and help you present your most authentic self to potential employers.
Absolutely. And honestly, who couldn't use a little confidence boost before a big interview, right?
Especially for a job as important as shaping young minds. But even with the best prep, interviews can be nerve-wracking. Any advice for our listeners who are gearing up for those crucial conversations?
First and foremost, relax. Be yourself. They want to get to know the real you, the passionate educator who's excited to share physics with students.
It's about finding the right fit, both for the teacher and the school.
100%. Be ready to talk about your teaching philosophy, your approach to physics, and don't be afraid to ask thoughtful questions about the school and the position too.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. You're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you.
Exactly. And of course, preparation is key. Look over the job description carefully, research the school, their curriculum, think about specific examples from your own experiences that show what you can do.
It's about telling your story, showing your passion, and painting a picture of why you'd be a great addition to their school community.
And don't underestimate the importance of asking good questions. When you engage with the interviewers in a thoughtful way, it shows you're curious, you care, and you're ready to learn.
It goes beyond just giving the right answers. It shows a genuine interest in being a part of their team.
And lastly, be confident. You've got this. You've put in the work, you're passionate about physics, and you have unique skills and experiences to offer. Believe in yourself, let your enthusiasm shine through, and trust that the right opportunity will come along.
I love that. It's bigger than just checking boxes on a resume. It's about finding the right environment where you can thrive as an educator and make a real difference.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's about finding your people, those like-minded educators who share your love for physics and your dedication to inspiring the next generation.
And hey, if a little AI assistance helps make those connections happen along the way, even better.
For sure. Whatever it takes to bring passionate teachers together with eager students.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the everyday realities of being a physics teacher to how technology's changing things up, both in the classroom and in the job search.
We've talked about essential skills, the rewards and challenges, and all sorts of resources that can help aspiring physics teachers on their journey.
It's a lot to take in, but I think the main takeaway is one of, cautious optimism.
There are definitely challenges in the field of education, no doubt about it. But there's also so much potential for people who are truly passionate about making a difference.
It's about inspiring the next generation, fostering a love of science, and helping to shape the minds that will shape our future.
And that's something really powerful and rewarding to be a part of.
Absolutely. So to all our listeners out there who are thinking about a career in physics education, we say go for it. The world needs more passionate, dedicated teachers like you.
Embrace the challenges, celebrate the wins, and never stop learning and growing.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, there's one last little nugget from the RoleCatcher stuff that I think is worth digging into. It really got me thinking about the different paths a physics teaching career could take. You ready for this?
Always. Hit me with it.
Remember how we talked about specialization? Like even within physics teaching, finding your niche, becoming an expert in something you're really passionate about.
Yeah, totally. It's about playing to your strengths, following those passions, and really owning a specific area within your field.
Well, the RoleCatcher Guide mentions this idea of, get this, combining your love of physics with another passion, something totally unexpected.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
What if you could blend your physics knowledge with, say, a love for music or art, history, even sports? Could you create a teaching specialization that's uniquely you? Something that sets you apart and lets you share all your passions with the world.
No, that is an idea worth exploring.
Right. It really got me thinking, what if you could break free from the traditional physics teacher mold and create a niche that's both personally fulfilling and incredibly impactful for your students? What would that look like?
Such a fascinating question to consider.
And that, my friend, is where we'll leave our listeners today. With a head full of ideas, a heart full of passion, and a whole lot to think about. It really opens up a world of possibilities, you know? Imagine teaching physics, but through music. Like exploring how instruments create sound, the physics of sound waves, maybe even the rhythm and harmony of, the universe itself.
Whoa, that's deep.
Right. Or what about connecting physics to art? You could dive into the science of light and color, the principles of perspective and composition. You could even use those physics simulations to create incredible visual art pieces. It's pretty amazing to think about.
What's really cool is how this whole idea of specialized teaching lines up with this push towards personalized learning we're seeing more and more of. It's like acknowledging that students have different interests, different ways of learning, and that they really thrive when their education is tailored to them.
Yeah, meeting students where they are, both intellectually and in terms of what they're passionate about, and then using those connections to help them unlock their potential.
Exactly.
I bet it would be so motivating for both the teacher and the students to be able to blend their passions with the curriculum like that.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine a physics class that feels less like, a traditional lecture and more like an artist's studio or a musician's jam session. A place where students feel heard, seen, and empowered to explore their own unique interests through the lens of physics.
That's such a cool vision. And it speaks to the power of a truly great teacher, too. Someone who doesn't just teach facts, but ignites curiosity, fosters a love of learning, inspires students to see the world in new ways.
It's so true. And who knows, that spark, that unique approach, it might be the thing that encourages a student to become a groundbreaking physicist, a visionary artist, a gifted musician, anything they set their mind to.
What an awesome thought. And that's what makes this whole exploration of physics teaching so exciting. It's about so much more than formulas and equations. It's about shaping minds, sparking those passions, and empowering the next generation to go out and make their mark on the world.
It's about being open to the unknown, always looking for new possibilities, and never forgetting that human connection we keep coming back to.
Well said. And on that inspiring note, we're going to wrap up our deep dive into the world of physics teaching. We talked about the challenges and rewards, got into the nitty-gritty of the job market, and hopefully sparked some new ideas and insights for you along the way.
Whether you're just starting to think about teaching or you're a seasoned pro looking for fresh inspiration, just remember, there's always something new to learn, something new to explore, and endless possibilities to make a real difference.
So to all our listeners, keep asking those questions, keep that thirst for knowledge alive, and never lose sight of your passion for sharing the wonders of physics with the world. Who knows, Maybe someday you'll be the ones inspiring us with your unique teaching styles and that unwavering dedication to shaping young minds.
We can't wait to see what amazing things you do. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.